You know, when you're starting, you always have questions. So I'm going to answer one of the questions, my take on when to clean your brush in the water. Here we go. I'm Michelle Manriquez from Drop That Brush, and I want to help people who are non-artists become artists. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Beginning watercolorist asked on Facebook, when mixing colors, is it necessary to rinse the brush every time you pick up a color? I thought, that's a good question. You know, you don't even think about it, you just kind of do it. I had to think about for a little while. I thought, what a great question, because I think probably you're gonna find that most people do different ways. See the star? I do it this way. Somebody else many people do it a different way. But it might be helpful to have an idea of why I would want to rinse my brush. It's not as simple as just rinse it every time, because it'll cause us trouble. So I can see two different possibilities in this question. First is am I rinsing when I jump from yellow, rinse, and go into purple? And why or why not? The other thing is, if I'm mixing colors, like for greens require to be mixed pretty consistently. So you're gonna have yellow and blue, and are you mixing between those two? So I'm gonna show you how I do it. One of the main issues with rinsing is it decreases the value strength. Every time, if I've got my little puddle and it's the correct value, maybe I'm trying to get a 5, and I rinse, I then decrease the value every single time. And I have to add more paint to get the same value. So this question, I'm thinking, when do I rinse my brush? I have to think about it, right? So for me, it's all about value. And I'm gonna show you how I handle it at the demo. Let's go play. So I wanna show you how I determine values just by sight. So I'm using a value thing. So if I need to go something darker than a 5, I know cad red coral is a 5. I know that cobalt blue is also a 5. It will never get darker than that. So I can look at this and say, okay, this is lighter. So you know it's someplace right here. And anything else here, you can just see it's darker than that. That tells you by just looking at palette. This was actually quite fascinating to me. Do you have any questions about that? Basically, once you understand that cad red is a 5, anything else can get darker. Anything lighter is going to be a lighter value. So the first thing you need to know is, where does it follow in the value scale? And you're thinking, well, why? Who cares? I mean, shouldn't you just rinse it every time? No, you waste a lot of paint that way. So the first thing, let's look and see what happens. If I take the darkest dark of yellow, and I'm pulling this out straight out of the barrel, it's chowder. Okay, so I'm trying to get my darkest dark. Now, even at the darkest dark, it's probably a 2 or 3 max. Then I clean, and then I tap, and I tap, and I get some more color. That's not bad. And I clean. And I tap and I tap. Uh-oh. Whoops. All of a sudden, I've gone from this color, which is a color I want, the value I wanted, or a tea color. That didn't work very well. So let me try a darker color, because that's one of my lightest. Let's try one of my darkest colors. This one. This is a pretty color. Ultramarine. I just think it's pretty. Okay, so I'm going to get it really thick. Okay. Getting it straight out of the barrel. Gonna clean, gonna clean, gonna clean. Gonna come back. Uh-oh. Look at the difference. If I was trying to put that value down, I washed my brush one time and it just sucked up the value, because now it's like a 3 or 4. And I tapped it and I tapped it here. It just doesn't take much. So let me try one more time. Okay. Okay, that's straight out of the barrel. Clean, 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 clean. Okay, clean, clean, clean. So this, if you're trying to stay in your same value, it's very easy to mess it up, because every time you're putting water from here, tapping, but then you're putting more water here and it continues to get lighter and lighter. For a person who wants to try to do it first and not do it a whole bunch of the time, it's really hard to do it that way. I'm trying to think what's something really messy. Oh, this is pretty good and those are pretty good. So say I don't like that. That's bothering you. Okay, so what you're gonna do is I wanna show you how easy it is to pull this stuff out. You can do this. I can scrape that off. And I can take it and actually tip it here. And it's clean. Now, I need new color, but that was very easy, right? Was that hard? So you don't really have to worry too much about the fact that you're going to mix. People are very worried about that. In reality, it really isn't an issue, because it's really hard not to mix. And it's easy enough to fix if you need to fix it. So here I am. For me, this is so a personal decision, but this is how I handle it. If I am going down the value scale, how do I know? A lighter color, a medium value, a darker value. Okay? And it's all about the same strength. It's all cream. We'll try cream. Cream's good. Okay, so I'm gonna go cream. Okay, this is cream. This is cream. I have a video that explains what I'm talking about. I start with my lighter color. Then I grab this. This overtakes that. You see, even though I have some yellow on it, a reality is this is a bigger value than this, and it will overtake it. So now I can come over here and I can go straight from here. Probably need a little bit more. And because I mix things anyway, I may not clean until I get done there. So I will go, say I'm going from a light value to a medium value. It's okay. It really is okay. So say I've got this is a light. I could do this. I could do this. And then I could go straight over here and do this. And maybe I could even go over, see, even a darker color, do this. Okay? I can do that if they're all about the same consistency. So that's one easy way, because every time I clean up, if I would do this and then come over here and work over here and then clean up and then come over here, I would constantly have the wrong value. But say I grab this, okay? And now I want to come over here and get into a yellow. You have to rinse, because you know, it would be a problem. So I would come over here, and then again, I'd come back here, and then I'd scoop right over there, because that's gonna just absolutely overflow a higher value than that. And yes, it mixes, but again, I'm a mixer, I do that. I think it's really pretty. Let's talk about, so if I'm going down values, I just dip and I don't really worry about it. But, so these are puddles, what I call puddle. I have a puddle, and then I move around my puddles and I, just play colors, I mean, I'm just, seeing what I'm gonna get. And maybe I'll clean up, because remember, this was a medium value, this is a light value. And I also know that that's gonna make a gray, so I have to be a little careful. Now, when I am doing puddles, I always clean up first. And I don't know why I do that, because I could go straight from here over to this color. This is and it didn't really hurt anything, because this is overpowering. Now, what about if I'm trying to make grays? I still start with a puddle, but this time I'm going back and forth and I'm just kind of mucking around trying to get the right, and then I'm going, okay, that's ugly. So I'm gonna come back here, try it again. Do I like that? Okay, well, I guess that's okay. And I will play, I call it push and pull, and I'm going back and forth. So now I'm getting all kinds of gook in the thing, because I'm trying to determine what value. I am trying to determine the color I'm gonna get. I am going to do an orange, and I'm going to use a blue, which are complements. And if you noticed, I mixed both of them. Then I actually clean one more time, and then I come back over here, make sure it's thick enough, and then I keep adding until I get the color. So when I'm doing this, I will come back here and say, okay, and then I'll come back here, and I'm trying to get the color that I'm looking for. And so I'm going back and forth, and I am not putting water on that, because I'll just make messes and I won't get the value that I want on this. This will make a beautiful color. So one side may be like this, one side may be like this, and then I have in the middle. And look at that beautiful color. Even when I mix, it's really rare that I totally mix it. I kind of muck it around in the middle, and one on one side, one on the other, and then I just let it mix on the paper because it's so pretty. If I am mixing, period, I'm back and forth. I do not go put water on, because I'm trying to get the right value. What if I am mixing things in similar value? So let's just talk about it. This, now that, now it depending upon whether I do it as tea strength, that's a totally different scene than I do it straight out and chowder. But assuming that we're doing the same basic of value, this would be like a 2, this might be a 6, 7, 8, in that range. So it depends upon as to what you're working on. So say I'm gonna do a 2. Now I know that pretty much the hardest I'm gonna get is a 2 is with yellows. So if I mix these, and I go here, and I go here, and I go here. It basically is, I can go back and forth, and it really doesn't hurt anything. But say I need to dip in a little bit more of that. Now I made that, but say I needed more, I would actually clean, probably, and just kind of make it a little light pile to make it, mix it. I hope this helps, guys. It's hard. You look at values. So those are the similar values. You can also do similar values that just simply, they are about the same. This is burnt orange, and it runs about 6. And I would say I can do, this is permanent rose, and that's a 6 too, pretty much. So I could go from here to there and kind of mix around, and it wouldn't hurt anything. Because they're the same value basically. So I'm not gonna do anything bad by flipping back and forth. I mean, there'll be a little bit of stuff, but I can get the actual color. It may take a couple times, but I can get it, and it's the same value. Now I'm not even, and you can see they're basically the same value. At full strength, they're basically all the same value. So it doesn't really matter, but the minute I start doing cleaning, my value changes. And so if I'm wanting that value, that's not good. I'm better off playing with my brushes. And then if I have yuck in my wells, I just clean it. One of the things that you can do is try to determine what the value is based upon cad red and cobalt blue are a 5. Anything lighter is lighter, everything darker is darker, and that gives you a clue. Let's talk about greens, because man, greens does bad things too, consistently. So here I am, and I'm doing this. I'm making sure it's kind of, and then I forgot, and I didn't get into the yellow first. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. And I'm gonna go back and forth till I can get the right green shade, you know? See how pretty that? I just love, just, isn't that beautiful? If I just add those different colors and let them blend in and do their thing. Those are so pretty. You may muck around with your greens for quite a while, so it doesn't really matter if it doesn't have to be perfect, because you are kind of in between and you're playing back and forth. So when I'm going back and forth for the greens, I leave it messed up until I'm ready to be done. It was a very interesting thing. I wasn't sure what, it just was fascinating because I never really thought about it, but yet it does make a difference. So the upshot is, if you're making straight out of the barrel, it's the same value you can mix. If you have a light color and another light color, you can go back and forth as long as you keep it kind of the same. If they are complementaries, then you have to be a little more careful, but it depends upon, maybe you're wanting a straight out, a gray. See, to me, I think that's really ugly. But you know, some people like that. But see, I can get a straight gray. So if I'm going back and forth, I'm backing forth until I get the right value. Then I'm thinking, okay, so here's what I've got. Now that I want it a little lighter, so then I'm gonna put more water in it. But then I'm not gonna dip until I'm really ready, because otherwise I will not get that value, because the minute I start playing with my water, I'll make a mess. I hope this answers your question. If not, tell me your approach. What are you doing? Because this really made me really ponder about what I'm doing. So it was a very interesting question. So it gave me kind of a kick. I love watercolor. So you know what? When you're playing and you have no idea what you're doing, but you just keep playing with the brush, drop that brush, like, subscribe, and ring that bell. You have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week. Bye.